20 November 2022. In this Skidmark, it's one of those Warrafak Skidmark moments. I'll be talking about NATO again, because it is quite obvious that NATO is a major reason why we have so much issues in Europe. And now America, the USA, is pulling NATO into the Pacific Ocean and that environment there. Why the hell are they doing it? They are really poking the bear, they're poking the dragon, and it seems to me that the leadership has lost touch with reality. How the fuck does the West think they can start a war with Russia and China? Any one of those two on itself is already a major disaster. Now that Newcon's sitting there in the shithouse, out of control, and there's not a president in America that can take a grip of them, and they run amok, and they think it's a game. I need you to take a look at this map. I have showed it. Look at that NATO expansion since 1997. That's all those orange countries there. And I've spoken about it in a previous Skidmark. The fact that the old Europe were pulling all those East Bloc countries into the EU is a sinister, evil plan all along. They view those Eastern European countries as second-class citizens in any case. There was no economical advantage for the EU to bring those countries in. Instead, it was a massive economic liability. But why did they do it? They do it explicitly and specifically to aggravate Russia. And the European citizens followed blindly. But unfortunately, they are now going to pay dearly for that blind following. When the chips go down, the old Europe is going to throw these eastern countries under the bus in the same way they've done. Big difference will be, next round, they don't have the money and the weapons to throw into the proxy fight. So that proxy is going to have to go it alone. And at this point in time, in my mind, Poland is a serious candidate to be calibrated. But enough of that. Let's get to the NATO story that I want. Look at this image, and then you must see it in the light that the Western media and the Western political elite is telling us China is evil. Here in my own country, I listened to a commentator on one of the popular channels and just shook my head. The shit that he had to say about China. Same story, same shit that they say about Russia. Look at that image. China initiated zero conflicts for 70 plus years since the founding of the PRC. Not even a proxy war. US waged 201 wars, proxy wars included. Only 16 years of its 240 plus years of history saw no warfare. For fuck's sakes. That tells you that they are evil. And then you look at this map, and the poster says, all under one regime. US military and CIA intervention since World War II. What the fuck is that? Look at that! That is where they have been involved with their wars. I don't have words for it. The West has been looking for this for a long time. And between Russia and China, they're going to trim their tail feathers for them seriously. And you listen to this. In exchange for the reunification of Germany, Western leaders made a deal with Russia not to expand NATO eastwards. It is a well-documented fact. Instead, NATO expanded to the Russian border with their weapon system despite numerous warnings from Russia. And that is the thing. We know it's true. And it has been documented. And has been spoken about. But that is the facts. They have been threatening Russia all the time. And then you look at this latest vote in the UN, revealing all the NATO states vote against a UN motion to condemn the glorification of Nazism. Now, why the fuck would they do that? Is that because they have now climbed into bed with the Nazis in the Ukraine? And it's becoming all over the show. You can see evidence that they are really in bed with the Nazis in the Ukraine. And Europe, and especially Germany, should be extremely nervous about it. But I see the German authorities are now persecuting journalists that gives the Russian view. What the hell is that? And listen to this shit. Kiev official urges strikes on Iran. Iranian drone and ballistic missile plants should be destroyed, a senior aide to the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has stated. What the fuck is that? So Kiev wants NATO to strike Iran. Same shit he tried with that missile he sent into Poland. Wants NATO to jump into the war. This Zelensky is fucking dangerous. He is dead set on starting World War III. And then there's this reminder. Yemen under siege and constant bombing as British warships blockade the port of Houthi to starve the people. US-backed Saudi planes bomb the capital. Enough crocodile tears. End the dirty war on Yemen. And that is so true. And I have done Skidmarks about Yemen. And what gives me, well, it will put me into a mode where I start swearing unstoppably. Listen to that sentence. British warships blockade the port of Houthi. What the fuck is that? They can't keep rubber ducks off their own coastline. That is how impotent they are. But they are very, very, very active in blocking food and medicine to reach the people of Yemen. As Dmitry Medvedev referred to them, those Anglo-Saxons need to be taught a lesson, a serious lesson. But I'm afraid that is getting very close. And then there is Dmitry Medvedev. Now, the West can be fucking glad this oak is not the president of Russia anymore, because he is not the same man as Putin. This guy is fucking aggressive. And listen to what he says here. Now, his words is telling a story. Who is fighting against us? An extraction of Dmitry Medvedev's latest post on Telegram. We are fighting against those who hate us, who ban our language, our values, and even our faith, who spread hatred towards the history of our fatherland. Against us today as part of a dying world. This is a bunch of crazy Nazi drug addicts, people drugged and intimidated by them, and a large pack of barking dogs from the Western kennel. With them is a motley pack of gruntling glits and narrow-minded inhabitants from a collapsed Western empire with saliva flowing down their chins from degeneration. They have no faith and ideals, except for obscene habits invented by them and standards of double think, implanted by them, denying the morality bestowed on normal people. Therefore, having risen against them, we have acquired sacred power. That is powerful words that he says here, and I mean, he is talking in no uncertain terms of what he thinks of the West and of Ukraine. But the West don't listen. And it's just another instance of those top Zelensky aid calls for strikes on Iran. Tehran's military-industrial facilities should be attacked over alleged arms supplies to Russia. And then this poster says, those Iranian Shahed 136 drones must have been very effective. Well, that is true. Those things are apparently quite effective. And once again, Kiev wants NATO to attack Iran. Then we've got this from Lavrov. NATO no longer says that it's purely a defensive alliance. It was a defensive alliance when the Soviet Union and Warsaw Pact existed. They have moved their line of defense since then. When there is no longer the Warsaw Pact or the Soviet Union, it is unclear from whom they were defending themselves. They have moved this line of defense closer to our borders several times. And now they announced at the Madrid summit this summer that they have global responsibility. Guys, I don't know. NATO must be disbanded. That is for sure. That thing must be disbanded. Again from Lavrov. And that the security of the Euro-Atlantic and the Indo-Pacific region are indivisible. That is, in fact, they are now claiming that they will play a leading role here and already shifting the so-called defense line to the South China Sea. What the hell is this? These warmongers must be removed from society and locked up on an island where they cannot get off and cannot contact anybody and cannot be contacted by anybody. That is what should happen. Look at this image and listen to this. US inches its Air Force closer to Iran as US Air Force B-52 bombers take part in exercises with Saudi Arabia close to the Persian Gulf. The US is preparing for the possibility of an attack by Iran on Saudi, getting up its forces and means for a retaliatory strike. This is bullshit. I am 100% convinced that Putin has got Saudi and Iran under control because it is the Americans that are stirring the shit in Saudi and in Iran. And then we've got this guy, this idiot that said the rest of the world is a jungle. The EU Rapid Reaction Force, military force comprised of up to 5,000 troops created to be swiftly deployed in a crisis, should be ready to deploy in 2023. Dream on! Where the fuck are you going to get the money to finance that? Where? This guy, he must retire and go, because I don't think his mind is working well. So first they started the EU just for nice and friendly travel between those few countries. It started off, and now we've reached a place where that EC in Brussels they've just taken power and authority over about everything of the member states. There's not a sovereign country in the EU, nowhere. The EC makes all the decisions. The EC controls the money, the EC controls the energy, the EC controls the health, the EC controls the budgets, the EC controls everything. And now the fucking EC wants a rapid deployment force. Why the hell do they want that? What about NATO? But they carry on. And then we get this from that idiot there in Canada. Canada will continue to train Ukrainian soldiers on UK soil until the end of 2023. They're training them on the UK soil. And the UK is cruising for a fucking bruising as it is. But let's see where this ends. from everything that I have read, and you must understand, I read extremely widely. This is a lot of work for me to make these Skidmarks, and I got to do a lot of research, because anyone that is looking at the video can here in the comments point out if I'm talking shit. So I have to make sure what I'm saying that I can support that. But I'm telling you, Europe is in for a hell of a rough ride, and Ukraine has bankrupted them financially and demilitarized them. They've been disarmed, and now this guy trains soldiers on UK soil. And the Russians frequently refer to the Anglo-Saxons. The Russians doesn't like the Anglo-Saxons at all, and those Anglo-Saxons is hated by a hell of a large part of the globe for all the shit that they have. Now the British Army can't even fill a soccer stadium. Think about that. Think about that. They can't fill one of those big soccer stadiums. They can't. They don't have the numbers. But yet, they keep on poking the bear. And now the Canadians come and they train the Ukrainians on UK soil. And then we get this one from Dmitry Medvedev. Russia is ready to supply Poland with the best air defense system to prevent further aggression from Ukraine. And I just laughed. I mean, I've asked the question and I've done a Skidmark about it. Why the hell did NATO not pick those missiles up and intercepted it? Is it because they actually can't? Now they've got a lot of stories about they have got the flight paths and everything. That's fucking days too late. Why did those missiles hit Poland's soil without being challenged? Why? If you're a European and you live there close to the border areas, you better be fucking nervous tonight, because NATO is all talk. Why did they not stop those incoming missiles, no matter who launched it? If NATO was as good as they try to convince all of us and so superior, why did they not intercept those missiles? That is the most important question out of that whole fiasco. Let's forget who fired it. Let's forget from which direction it came. Let's forget the model of it. Let's forget all of that. Just let them answer this question. Why did they not intercept those missiles? Why did they not prevent them from hitting Polish soil? Why not? That is a hell of an important question to be answered. And then we've got this. All statements by Western officials on Libya somehow mention the importance of unhindered access to Libya's natural resources. The West set a goal to turn Libya into a gas station to meet their energy needs back in 2011, when NATO aggression ruined the Libyan statehood. And look at that image, they fucking bombed Libya into oblivion. This is what the West do. This is what NATO do. As you and me are talking now here, they are bombing children and women in Yemen. They are killing children. They are preventing medicine to get into that country. They are preventing food to get into that country. This is what they do. This is a fucking evil alliance. Evil. And then there's a little bit of a tidbit. You know, we all know that Zelensky kept on with his shit that it was Russia that fired those missiles into Poland. Although everybody in the West and all the main potatoes in the packet there in the White House, all of them said it's not Russia. But he carries on with his cuck. Responding to Zelensky's comment, a diplomat from a NATO country in Kiev told the Financial Times, "This is getting ridiculous. The Ukrainians are destroying our confidence in them. Nobody is blaming Ukraine and they are openly lying. This is more destructive than the missile." Well, Medvedev has warned you many times that thing is insane, he's on drugs, and he's a liar. Now, his tongue will most probably get you into deep shit, NATO. And then from Maria Zakharova. On the Western claims that if it wasn't for Russia, none of this would have happened. I'm not sure about the none of it part, but most definitely wouldn't have happened if the US and NATO didn't favor coups and regime change in Ukraine, installing puppet politicians. That is a big truth. Once again, you will get no response on that. But tonight, I'm sitting in the darkness, load shedding here in my country. Our energy system is fucked up, and our stupid president is also getting on that green train, and we have got issues. We hear a lot about the energy problems in Europe. You Europeans, you must get a plane ticket, fly down to South Africa and come and take a look what it looks like when a fucking regime drives your country into the sewer. When a civilized country falls apart and barbarians runs amok. And idiots. Those cretins that claim they have natural intelligence. They don't need to study for any profession in the world. They've got it naturally. When those clever people are in charge. But you in Europe, I'm telling you, your leadership, if you bring them down to South Africa and there is an IQ contest in our parliament, you guys must be careful, you may come in last. I don't know how the fuck it happened. But let me stop and say again, Warrafak NATO. What are you trying to do? Do you want us to see the end of the world? Look at the state in Europe. Europe is in the sewer. Why? Because of fucking wars. And on that angry note, please be angry and bliksem that like and do the subscribe thing and share it. Thank you.